Hello, this is Mark Warren, and I'm back with another vision restoration video, and this one's going to be under 10 minutes. In one of my longer videos talking about fast vision restoration, I talked about my number 2 point, which is mobile movement, noticing movement between objects while you're moving. So this video is going to be a demonstration on what type of movements I'm looking for, how to do it. This will help you get active focus faster. This will help Bates people who are doing rocking to know what they're looking for. And what this does is it relaxes your ciliary muscle. It gets it to start relaxing, to open up. If you start feeling tingling or some tearing sensations while you're doing this, you're doing it right. And I recommend doing this without glasses. Even if you can't see clearly, you're looking at movement between objects. You're not looking for clarity from objects. You're looking for movement between objects. So you should still be able to detect movement, and that's what you want to key in on and focus. So it works like this. Let's go right into it. What you're going to do is start rocking side to side, and it's not going to be a fast rock like this. You want very slow rocking. So you're just going to go left, right, and you're going to pick an object that's in front of another object. So in this case, I'm looking at the camera there that's behind the models, or that's behind the monitors rather, and I'm looking at the texture on the back of the wall, and I'm noticing the difference, how the texture is moving. It looks like separately from the camera. I'm noticing that movement. So I'm going to do that for about 4 times. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're going to move to a new point. So now I'm looking at the wooden mannequin and see that line caused by the shadow in the corner of the room. So I'm looking at that line move separately from the wooden mannequin. I'm looking both at the same time. That's the movement that you're looking for. So I'm moving, I'm still rocking in the same direction even though I've turned my head. I'm actually turning the camera, but turn my head and turn the camera. I'm looking at that movement between those 2 points. And again, you do that for 4 times. Then you switch to 2 new points. So there's a microphone there, and there's a stack of paper that's on the back of the paper feed on the printer. So I'm looking at that. I'm still rocking in the same direction, but I notice that paper and the microphone separate, come back together, separate, come back together. That's the motion I'm looking for. Then I'm going to go to 2 new points. The door handle and the microphone stand there that doesn't have a microphone connected to it. I'm noticing they're getting wider together, wider together, wider, and then back together. So again, if you start to get some tearing sensations or your eyes feel like they're going to start watering, you're doing it right. Just notice that movement. Guitar and the cloth on the end of the keyboard, the dust cloth there. So I'm going back and forth, back and forth. Now, even though I'm still rocking in the same direction that I started with, the movement now has moved forward to backwards. I've just turned my head, but it's almost forward to backwards, but I'm still noticing that distance closing and then opening up as I move forward. And then finally, I might pick one more point. I'm looking at the eye chart and the corner of the keyboard. So all of these are at varying distances. I'm not looking at any 2 particular objects that are on the same plane. It's varying distances. And as you're doing this, try to look for more objects that are moving than just the 2 that you're focusing on. So the more objects that you can see moving, the better. And then finally, after you do your last round, four rocks for each, go back to your first object, which is the camera and the texture on the back of the wall. So got the camera, and I'm going to do that for 4 times. And then you're going to stop. Then you're going to close your eyes for 5 seconds. Just keep them closed. You don't have to close them tight or anything. Just close them. And count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you're going to open. You might get some stinging. You might get some tearing up feeling. It may take a couple rounds to do this, but do another round of this same thing. Rock. I'm noticing texture and the camera moving against each other as I rock. And I'm going to go over to the wood mannequin in the corner of the wall. And then I'm going to switch over to the microphone and the paper. Then I'm switching to the door handle and the microphone stand. And then I'm going to switch to the guitar and the cloth on the corner of the keyboard there. And then I'm going to switch to the eye chart. Not trying to read it, but I'm noticing that distance and gap between the cloth and the eye chart. And again, I'm trying to look at as many objects as I possibly can, but concentrating really on the two, the movement and the distance changes between the two. Go back to my original object that I started with, which is the camera and the texture on the back of the wall. Do that for 4 times rocking, and then I'm going to stop, close my eyes, count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and open. So it may take you maybe 4 or 5 times the first time. I usually do it for about 2 rounds first thing in the morning, but after you close your eyes that second time or third or fourth, however many times you do it, just don't do anything. Just walk around, look around, just look around the room and don't even try to see anything. And what you'll experience after doing this for a little while is you might start experiencing some flickering. Again, that tingling sensation, tearing up sensation in your eyes. You are unlocking your ciliary muscle because you started to see movement. And the more you do this, the more often that you do this, then the faster that ciliary muscle will start to unlock and release. It really basically engages that active focus, the active focus activation. Bates method, they call this rocking. So people who don't get rocking, this is what you should be looking for when you're rocking, and that will get your eyes, like I said, reset. I do this usually for a couple of rounds each morning, and sometimes I have a hard time seeing the bottom line on my eye chart, but after I do this, I can read down to the smallest line on this eye chart. And I'm going to zoom in there so you can see. So granted, I'm not standing at the distance where it's really 20/20, but as you can see, I can zoom down to that smallest line and read it crystal clear just after doing 2 or 3 rounds of this. And that's usually when I wake up in the morning, my eyes might be a little more double vision or whatever, but this helps reset things. So again, the more you do this, the easier it's going to get that ciliary muscle to release and start to activate. So it relaxes. It's a relaxing technique for your eyes. So try that out, see how it works. If you have any questions, drop them down below. This is Mark Warren. We'll catch you on the next one. Good luck with your vision.